Important tips and resources for buying your home.
Now, what would I do, to move forward with some of these different cities and taking a look at different options? First thing is to get pre-qualified, which is to have a lender take a look at your basic info and give you sort of a basic budget to have me or somebody at the brokerage start looking at properties with you from an investment or a primary home standpoint. And then the second thing would be to get pre-approved as quickly as possible, because if I'm sending you, 4 or 5 investment properties that I spent an hour or two analyzing each, and you really like it and you're like, yeah, just keep sending me properties, and then you're like, okay, I want this one. Well, most of these properties are off the market in 10 to 12 days, max 30 days, and it takes 3 to 4 weeks to get pre-approved to even put in the offer on the property and to be competitive. We can make a little bit of money on the front end because, like it says here, you make your money when you buy. So if I can put it together a competitive offer package by getting you pre-approved first, which will mean that we're able to the lender takes a look at all of your finances, credit score, bank statements, proof of funds, all this. They put together a package and basically they give me a letter saying, hey, this is a pre-approval letter. This guy is approved for $1 to $1.2 million loan. His monthly payment's probably going to be about this much. And you can start going to look for properties at this price. Now I can bring that to the seller and say, hey, if these other guys are pre-qualified, you should give us the home for $50,000 cheaper, because there's a chance that when they go through the pre-approval process and the lender starts taking a look deeper at their finances, that they're not going to close the deal, and you'll have just wasted 60 days of your time, 30 days in escrow and 30 days of preparation, waiting for the offer to go through and all this stuff, and then back and forth. And you would have wasted a lot of time and money when you could have just offered it to us a little bit cheaper and ensured that you were going to get out of the property with your money at the rate it is today, because you don't want it to go back on the market, and enable you to, most likely if people are moving, they have somewhere to go and you're able to move on with your life and be where you got to go. So I would put in an offer on the first property we were looking at for 667,000 at 640,000, because it's been on the market for I think it was I believe it was like 20 or 30 days now. I think it was 22 days. And so in the description it said price to sell. Usually if the real estate agent is there saying price to sell, I mean, they're essentially getting a little bit desperate at that point, because they're telling everybody like, hey, like, can you just come buy this right now? Like the seller just wants to get out from underneath it or whatever is going on. And then I would put 0 contingencies on there because it looks like a pretty brand spanking new property. Most of the homes in Brentwood are under 20 years old, and we haven't had any huge earthquakes recently. And there's most likely no large issues that are going to come up. So it's going to help make our offer more competitive to be able to get, this property at a deal, because we're making all the money not by renting it out and doing all these things. We're making all the money when we purchase it for as low as possible. And that's why it's good to put in offers on multiple properties, but one at a time. So you don't get, so you're not responsible for purchasing them once they accept it. And, that's going to enable you, combined with the low mortgage rates of today, to be able to have as low of a rate as possible. If I can get the rate down to $2,500, every $100 that I can get my monthly payment down, that's another $100 of cash flow that I have. So I'm trying to squeeze every last, $1,000 that I can out of the deal. And if they're not happy with this, most likely we'll be able to negotiate and, talk to them and figure out, a number that does work. And if it crosses over the number where our numbers don't make sense anymore, probably around like 700 grand, it wouldn't make sense anymore almost at all, then I'm just going to be like, okay, have a good day. And I'm going to go on to the next deal. Again, get fully pre-approved. After purchasing the home, you want to make sure you have around $10,000 to be able to put quality furniture in there so that you can be in the top 25% of that renter's market. At the top 25% of the renter's market, it said, the homes were going for $1,500, $1,400 for a private room with a private bathroom. And so if you want to be, at the top tier, essentially nobody else in Brentwood was offering, a fully furnished room. So instantly when you do that, you're going to be able to ask for the highest rents. Get the tenants to pay for the utilities and negate the cost. And then you're going to pre-qualify the tenants using our 10-page premium tenant pre-qualification package. Or you can use a website like Zumper.com to go through some basic pre-qualification and take in a massive amount of applications at one time. And we can help you go through that stuff too as well, because we have a system for that. Once you have the property and you're ready to put tenants in there. Then what I would be looking to do is sign 1-year leases at a minimum, whether I'm renting out the room separately or to people as a whole. Now,
Join our weekly webinar. Call us now at 408-763-8131 or scan the QR code.